You know, it's times like these that I actually wish that I had an Arsenal jersey. Now, on today's video, make sure to subscribe, click on that notification bell, and let me know what you think about this video. We'll be reacting to quite a weird breakdown if plants can actually feel pain. Because, like, you know, I looked at the video. I wasn't wrong. When I saw the video, I was like, okay, this is actually fascinating.
I can't explain.
There's a whole debate between vegans and people who eat meat.
Time out.
You can also be both. Anyways, I get to learn something new. You get to learn something new.
Absolutely.
We from a past that was based off of surviving off eating of animals. You know, hunting, making sure we're starting a fire so that we can eat. You get what I'm saying? We're gonna kind of wobble this conversation. Can't wait to start it.
Pull a carrot out of the ground. Snap a twig off a tree. Mow your lawn on a Sunday afternoon. You don't think twice about it. Plants are just things. They sit there. They don't run.
It's the same thing with like grass. Like we're constantly walking on grass. You get me? So like, are we hurting grass? And in this case, now what are we supposed to do as humans? Where are we supposed to walk? And then when we putting the pavements and the what's, where are we supposed to walk? We can't levitate.
Plants know when they're being eaten alive. They send distress signals to their neighbors.
Ooh, this is not gonna be very good for... Hey, I wonder... Oh, by the way, I apologize. At first, I said vegans, right? There's a difference between vegetarians and vegans. Alright, let's get back into the video.
They summon predators to fight their battles for them. And when they're injured, their entire body responds in under 2 minutes. They just do it in a language we spent centuries completely failing to notice. Researchers at the University of Missouri set up cameras and microphones around caterpillar-damaged plants. Then they played recordings of caterpillars chewing. Just the sound, no actual insects. The plants responded. They started producing mustard oils, the same chemical defense they use when they're actually under attack. They couldn't see the caterpillar. They couldn't feel it. They heard something that sounded like danger and they reacted. A plant heard a threat and changed its biology because of it. Here's where it gets complicated. In 2019, a team at the University of Wisconsin did something no one had managed before. They genetically modified plants to produce a fluorescent protein that glows when calcium moves through cells. Calcium signaling is how animal nervous systems transmit information. It's the electrical current your neurons ride when you touch a hot stove.
Oh, really? You learn something every day? Wow, man.
Damaged a leaf. What happened next lit up the screen like a lightning storm. Within 90 seconds, a calcium wave shot from...
Or maybe I'm just a dumbass, you know?
At what point does the word pain start to apply? There's a botanist named Monica Gagliano who has spent her career trying to answer that question, and the scientific community has spent a good chunk of time trying to discredit her for it. Her most famous experiment used a plant called...
Guys, remember the name. If you can, spam the name in the comments.
Mimosa pudica. If you've never seen one, it's remarkable on its own. Touch it and the leaves fold shut instantly. It looks almost theatrical, like a plant flinching. Gagliano set up a device to drop mimosa plants from a small height. Not high enough to damage them, but enough to trigger the folding response every time. She dropped them repeatedly, dozens of times. The plants stopped folding. They habituated to the drop. They learned it wasn't a real threat and they stopped responding to it. When she shook them instead, a different stimulus, they folded immediately. They hadn't just gotten tired. They had specifically recognized that the drop was harmless and adjusted. Habituation is considered one of the most basic forms of learning in neuroscience. It requires memory, the ability to store a past experience and use it to change future behavior. A plant with no brain remembered something. We said fish couldn't feel pain. Then studies found they have the same neural pathways, the same behavioral responses to injury, the same stress hormones. Every time we drew a line and said, this is where feeling stops, we eventually had to redraw it. The definition of pain has been a moving target every time we've actually examined it carefully. Here's the thing that sits at the center of all of this. We've always defined pain in terms of what it looks like. Does it run away? Does it cry out? Does it have a face that can show us it's suffering? Plants fail every one of those tests, so we assumed the answer was obvious. But plants have been solving problems, communicating, remembering, and responding to injury for hundreds of millions of years longer than we have. They've done it with a completely different architecture. No neurons, no brain, no centralized command center.
I feel like they're alive out there, and I don't know. But this is just, it's insane. It's just, wow.
Cells, chemicals, and signals. And it has worked. For longer than we can really imagine. While animals were still figuring out how to grow legs, plants had already spent millions of years learning how to survive, communicate, and defend themselves without moving an inch. We built our understanding of intelligence around a brain, around movement, around a face. And then we looked at everything else in the world and said, if it doesn't do it our way, it doesn't count. The question isn't really whether plants feel pain the way you do. The question is whether we've been arrogant enough to assume that our version of feeling, the screaming, bleeding, flinching kind, is the only version that counts.
I believe that plants do feel pain. And it comes back to my point from earlier that, I feel like we can all just live in unity, bro. Like, they're actually like people who rally against people who chow meat. Do you know how crazy that is? Very interesting video. Would highly recommend. I'll leave the video link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe, click on that notification bell, and let me know what you thought about this video. Peace.
Is this a dream I'm having? I'm so dazed.